The airplane moved smoothly through the dark sky. Inside the cabin, most passengers were asleep. Soft lights glowed above their heads. Quiet breathing filled the air. In seat 8A, a single dad named Adam slept with his seat slightly leaned back. His head rested near the window, and his hands were folded on his lap. He looked tired in a deep way, like someone who had carried responsibility for a long time. Adam was in his early 30s. His face showed calm strength, but also hidden sadness. Life had not been gentle with him. Years earlier, he had lost his wife to illness. From that day, everything changed. He stopped thinking about dreams and started thinking about survival. His world became smaller and more focused. Every choice he made was for his young son. Adam worked long hours at a repair shop. His hands were often covered with oil and small cuts. He never complained. At night, he cooked simple meals, helped with homework, and told bedtime stories. When his son slept, Adam sometimes sat alone in silence. He missed the sound of another adult voice in the house. Still, he stayed strong. This flight was important to him. He was returning from a short job trip. He wanted to be home before morning so he could wake his son for school. That thought stayed in his heart even while he slept. Most people on the plane saw Adam as just another tired father. They did not know his past. They did not know that years ago, Adam had flown high-speed aircraft in difficult skies. He had once been trained to stay calm under pressure. That life felt far away now. He believed it was over forever. The plane suddenly shook. It was not strong, but it was enough to wake several passengers. A woman gasped softly. Someone adjusted their seat. The sound of the engines changed slightly. Adam's eyes opened for a moment, then closed again. He thought it was just normal air movement. Minutes later, the shaking returned, stronger this time. A low warning sound came from the front of the plane. Lights flickered for a second. People started to wake up fully now. Fear moved quietly through the cabin. Adam sat up straight. His body reacted before his mind did. His eyes scanned the area without panic. He noticed flight attendants moving quickly but calmly. Their faces were serious, not rushed. That detail caught his attention. The captain's voice came over the speaker. It was steady, but something in the tone felt different. The captain explained that there was a technical problem. He asked everyone to remain seated and calm. Then he paused for a moment. The pause felt heavy. Then the captain asked if there were any combat pilots on board. The cabin became silent. Adam felt his chest tighten. His heart began to beat faster. He looked down at his hands. They were steady, but his thoughts were loud. He had not heard those words in years. Combat pilot. That was a life he had locked away. Around him, people looked confused. Some whispered to each other. Others stared forward, unsure what the question meant. A man across the aisle shook his head slowly. A young couple held hands tightly. Adam leaned back in his seat. Memories pushed forward without warning. He remembered strict training mornings. He remembered cold air, bright panels, and the sound of engines that responded instantly to his touch. He remembered being calm while others panicked. He also remembered the day he quit. That day had been quiet. He held his newborn son for the first time and realized something had changed forever. When his wife passed later, that feeling grew stronger. He could not risk his life anymore. His son needed him alive. The captain repeated the question. The silence stretched longer this time. Fear began to show on faces. A child started crying softly near the back of the cabin. A flight attendant tried to calm the child with gentle words. Adam closed his eyes for a brief moment. He thought of his son sleeping in his bed at home. He thought of unfinished homework on the table. He thought of the promise he had made to always return. His mind argued with itself. He was just a father now. He was not trained anymore. He had been out of that world for years. But another voice inside him spoke quietly. If no one stands up, everyone is at risk. Adam opened his eyes. He did not jump up. He did not speak loudly. He simply raised his hand. The movement felt small, but it changed everything. A flight attendant noticed him almost immediately. She walked toward him quickly, but did not show panic. She leaned down beside his seat and spoke in a low voice. She asked about his experience. Adam answered honestly. He did not exaggerate. He did not explain details. He just said he had flown military aircraft in the past. The flight attendant nodded once. Her face showed both relief and concern. She asked him to come with her. Adam stood up slowly. His legs felt heavy, but strong. As he walked down the aisle, passengers watched him. Some eyes were filled with hope. Some were filled with fear. No one spoke. Each step felt like moving between two lives. The life he lived now and the life he thought he had left behind. As Adam reached the front of the plane, the sounds of the cabin faded. The cockpit door opened. Bright lights and focused voices greeted him. He took one more breath. Whatever happened next, he knew one thing clearly. He had made his choice. The cockpit door closed behind Adam with a soft sound. Inside, the space felt tight and intense. Lights from the control panels glowed in green and white. Quiet warning sounds filled the air. The captain sat in the left seat, his face focused and serious. The co-pilot sat beside him, breathing slowly but looking tired. Adam stood still for a moment. He did not rush. He knew that panic could make things worse. He listened first. The captain explained the situation in clear words. One system was not responding correctly. The plane was still flying, but it needed careful handling. Adam nodded. His mind shifted into a calm state. Training he thought was forgotten returned naturally. He remembered how to focus only on what mattered. He spoke clearly and asked simple questions. The captain answered with respect. Adam took the jump seat behind them. He did not try to take control. He supported the crew by checking numbers, confirming readings, and suggesting small adjustments. His voice stayed steady. That calm spread through the cockpit. Outside the cockpit, the cabin felt very different. Passengers sat quietly in their seats. Some held hands. Some closed their eyes. Some watched the front of the plane without blinking. The crying child had gone quiet, sensing the fear around them. A flight attendant walked slowly through the aisle, speaking softly to people. She told them the crew was handling the situation. Her voice was gentle, but her eyes showed concern. Back in the cockpit, Adam noticed small details. He pointed out a reading that did not match another. The co-pilot checked and nodded. A small correction was made. The warning sound lowered slightly. The captain took a deep breath. He thanked Adam and asked him to stay alert. Adam agreed. He thought of his son again. He imagined his son waking up and looking for him. That thought gave him strength. Minutes passed slowly. Every second felt heavy. Adam stayed focused. He spoke only when needed. He did not let memories distract him. This was not the past. This was the present. The plane shook again, but less than before. The captain adjusted controls carefully. Adam confirmed the settings. The system responded better this time. In the cabin, passengers felt the change. The shaking reduced. Some people whispered with relief. A man in the middle row wiped sweat from his face. A woman near the window held her chest and breathed deeply. Adam noticed the improvement and allowed himself a small breath. The most dangerous moment was not over, but progress had been made. The captain announced that the plane would make a controlled landing at the nearest airport. His voice remained calm. He told everyone to stay seated and trust the crew. Hearing that announcement brought mixed feelings to the cabin. Fear was still there, but hope had joined it. People straightened in their seats. Some nodded to themselves. Some whispered quiet words of comfort. Adam continued to assist until the captain said the rest was under control. Adam nodded again. He did not feel proud. He felt tired in a deep way. The cockpit door opened. Bright cabin light filled the space. The flight attendant waited quietly. She looked relieved when she saw Adam standing steady. As Adam walked back through the aisle, passengers watched him again. This time, their eyes looked different. Gratitude replaced fear. No one clapped yet. No one spoke. But the silence felt warm. Adam returned to seat 8A. He sat down slowly and rested his hands on his lap. His heart was still beating fast, but it was steady. He closed his eyes briefly. Images of the cockpit faded. Images of home returned. A small room. A child asleep. A quiet promise waiting to be kept. The plane continued its descent, guided by steady hands and calm minds. Adam stayed awake now, listening to every sound, ready if needed. He did not know what the landing would bring. But he knew one thing clearly. He had done what he could. The plane moved lower through the sky as it prepared to land. The lights inside the cabin grew brighter. The sound of the engines changed again, softer but steady. Adam sat in seat 8A with his back straight and his eyes open. He watched every small movement around him. His body felt tired, yet his mind stayed sharp. Flight attendants took their seats and secured themselves. Their faces were calm, but focused. The captain's voice came over the speaker once more. He explained that the plane would land soon and asked everyone to remain seated. His tone carried control and care. Passengers listened closely. Some nodded. Some held their seat arms tightly. Others closed their eyes and took slow breaths. Fear had not disappeared, but it was no longer wild. It had been shaped into patience. Adam looked down the aisle. He noticed the child from earlier resting quietly against a parent. That small moment touched him deeply. He imagined his own son in that place. He imagined how his son would feel if he never came home. That thought made Adam sit even straighter. The plane shook lightly again as it passed through thicker air. A few gasps came from the cabin, but no screams followed. People trusted the process now. Trust was a powerful thing. Adam's mind drifted briefly to the past. He remembered his first solo flight as a young pilot. He remembered fear mixed with pride. He remembered learning that control came from respect, not force. Those lessons still lived inside him. A flight attendant walked down the aisle one last time, checking seat belts and offering quiet reassurance. When she reached Adam, she paused for a moment and gave him a gentle smile. No words were needed. The runway lights appeared outside the windows, long lines of bright white cutting through the night. The plane aligned itself carefully. The engines lowered in sound as the aircraft slowed its descent. Every second stretched long. The cabin grew silent. Even breathing seemed quieter. Adam placed his feet firmly on the floor. His hands rested calmly on his knees. He whispered a quiet promise inside his heart. He promised to return home. He promised to hold his son again. The wheels touched the ground. The landing was firm but controlled. A jolt ran through the cabin, followed by the sound of tires rolling fast against the runway. The plane slowed steadily. A few people cried softly from relief. Some laughed through tears. When the plane came to a complete stop, a wave of emotion swept through everyone. Applause filled the cabin, growing louder with each second. Passengers clapped, hugged, and thanked the crew with broken voices. Adam remained seated for a moment. He let the sound wash over him. He felt heavy and light at the same time. His chest rose and fell deeply as the tension finally released. The captain's voice returned, this time warmer. He thanked the passengers for their patience and praised the crew for their teamwork. He did not mention Adam by name, but Adam understood the meaning behind the words. Passengers began to stand and collect their bags. Many looked toward seat 8A. Some nodded at Adam. Some whispered thank you. One elderly man placed a hand over his heart when their eyes met. Adam stood slowly. His legs felt stiff. A flight attendant approached him and spoke quietly. She thanked him again and said his calm presence had made a difference. Adam nodded gently. He did not seek attention. As he stepped into the aisle, Adam felt a strange peace. The fear was gone. The past no longer felt heavy. It felt complete. He walked off the plane among the others, just another traveler heading forward. But inside, something had shifted. He realized that he had not lost his strength when he left that old life behind. He had simply changed how he used it. In the terminal, people moved quickly, eager to leave. Some talked excitedly. Some sat down to recover. Adam walked quietly, carrying only a small bag and a big heart. His phone buzzed with a message. It was a simple photo of his son sleeping, sent by a neighbor who was watching him. Adam smiled deeply. His eyes filled with tears, but his face stayed calm. He typed a short reply, saying he would be home soon. As Adam walked toward the exit, the night air felt fresh and cool. He took a deep breath and stepped forward, ready to return to the life that mattered most. The sky outside was clear and calm, as if nothing had ever gone wrong. The airport slowly returned to its normal rhythm. Screens flashed flight numbers. People walked fast with bags rolling behind them. The tension from the flight faded into tired relief. Adam moved through the terminal at a steady pace. His body felt heavy, but his steps were sure. He did not rush. He felt no need to explain himself to anyone. What mattered was ahead of him, not behind. Still, small moments followed him as he walked. A woman stopped and thanked him softly. A young man nodded with respect. Adam answered with a gentle smile and kept moving. Outside, the cool night air touched his face. It felt clean and grounding. He stood for a moment and looked up at the sky. The stars were faint but steady. The same sky that had held fear hours ago now felt peaceful. Adam found a quiet seat near the exit and sat down. His phone rested in his hand. He looked again at the picture of his son sleeping. The blanket was pulled up to the child's chest. One small hand rested near his face. That sight filled Adam with warmth and emotion. He remembered the long nights after his wife passed. He remembered learning how to cook simple meals. He remembered failing sometimes and trying again. Being a single father had taught him patience and strength in ways no training ever had. Adam stood and called for a ride home. While he waited, his thoughts stayed calm. The flight no longer replayed in his mind. He accepted it as something that happened because it needed to happen. The ride home was quiet. City lights passed by the window. Adam rested his head back and closed his eyes. This time, sleep came easily. When the car stopped, Adam stepped out and paid the driver. The house stood quietly in front of him. A single porch light glowed softly. He unlocked the door and stepped inside. The house smelled familiar. Clean laundry and warm air welcomed him. Adam placed his bag down gently. He moved through the house slowly, not wanting to make noise. He entered his son's room. The child slept peacefully, breathing slow and steady. Adam stood there for a long moment. His chest tightened with love and relief. He reached out and brushed his fingers lightly through his son's hair. Adam sat on the edge of the bed. He whispered a soft promise that only he could hear. He promised to always be there. He promised to protect this quiet life they had built together. Later that night, Adam sat alone in the living room. The house was silent. He thought about the cockpit and the faces of the passengers. He thought about how fear had tested him again. He realized something important. Courage did not disappear when life changed. It only waited for the right reason to return. Adam did not regret stepping forward. He did not regret leaving that life either. Both choices came from the same place. Love. The next morning came quickly. Sunlight filled the house. Adam woke up before his alarm. He felt tired but peaceful. His son woke up soon after and ran into the kitchen. He hugged Adam tightly. Adam lifted him up and laughed softly. That sound felt better than any applause. At breakfast, his son asked simple questions about airplanes and pilots. Adam answered with gentle words. He kept the stories light and hopeful. Life continued as normal. Adam went to work. He fixed machines and spoke kindly to co-workers. No one there knew what had happened in the sky. Adam did not feel the need to tell them. In the quiet moments, he felt proud in a calm way. Not because he was strong, but because he had stayed true to who he was. That night, after his son fell asleep, Adam looked out the window again. The sky was clear. He felt ready for whatever came next. The past no longer felt heavy. The future no longer felt uncertain. Adam felt complete. Life settled into its familiar rhythm again. Mornings started with simple routines. Adam woke up early and prepared breakfast. He packed lunch, tied shoelaces, and reminded his son to finish homework. These small actions felt meaningful. They reminded him why he worked so hard and stayed strong. Days passed quietly. Adam returned to his job at the repair shop. The sound of tools and engines filled the air. His co-workers joked and complained about daily problems. Adam listened and smiled. No one there knew what had happened on the flight. To them, he was just Adam, the reliable man who fixed things and never caused trouble. At night, Adam spent time with his son. They ate dinner together and talked about school. Sometimes they watched cartoons. Sometimes they read books. Adam listened closely to every word. He knew that these moments were precious. One evening, his son asked about airplanes again. He asked why pilots had to stay calm. Adam thought for a moment. He explained that calm helped people think clearly and keep others safe. His son nodded seriously, as if storing the lesson for the future. Adam realized that the flight had changed him quietly. He did not feel different on the outside, but inside, something felt stronger and clearer. He understood that he did not have to choose between his past and his present. Both were part of him. A week later, a letter arrived in the mail. It was simple and respectful. It thanked an unnamed passenger for helping during a difficult flight. Adam read it slowly. He did not feel pride or excitement. He felt peace. He folded the letter and placed it in a drawer. He did not tell his son about the letter. He wanted his child to see him as a father first. That role mattered most. As time went on, Adam noticed small changes in himself. He became more patient. He listened more. He worried less about things he could not control. Fear no longer held the same power over him. One afternoon, Adam took his son to a small park near their home. Planes passed high above them, leaving faint lines in the sky. His son pointed upward and smiled. Adam smiled too. He remembered the question asked on the flight. He remembered raising his hand. He knew that if that moment came again, he would make the same choice. Not because he missed the past, but because responsibility lived inside him. Adam understood now that bravery was not about danger or skill alone. It was about showing up when others needed help. It was about putting love before fear. That night, Adam tucked his son into bed. He sat beside him until the child fell asleep. He watched his peaceful face and felt grateful. Later, Adam stood by the window and looked at the dark sky. The stars were faint but present. He felt grounded. He felt ready. Seat 8A became just a memory. The flight became a story that did not need to be told often. What mattered was the life he lived every day. Adam turned off the light and went to rest. Tomorrow would bring work, laughter, and small challenges. He welcomed all of it. He was no longer just a man with a past. He was a father with purpose.